Welcome to Rise Within Channel. I'm glad you're here. What you're about to hear is not just content, it's a conversation and life lesson. One that I hope meets you exactly where you are and leaves you somewhere better. Let's begin. Episode 6. What if everything you've been through was preparing you? What if your story doesn't have the wrong chapters? It has the exact chapters it needed to have. What if the job you lost was clearing the path for the one that was meant for you? What if the relationship that broke you open was developing the capacity for love that your next one will require? What if the years you feel you wasted were secretly building something in you that no amount of smooth, successful living ever could have? I am not asking you to be grateful for pain. Pain is real. Loss is real. And anyone who tells you to simply look on the bright side of genuine suffering has probably never experienced real darkness. But I am asking you to consider one possibility, that your story, including the parts that hurt the most, has been preparing you for something specific, something that required exactly the person you have been forced to become. Part 1. The meaning in difficulty. The Austrian psychiatrist Viktor Frankl survived 3 years in Nazi concentration camps, including Auschwitz. He lost his pregnant wife, his parents, his brother. He lost almost everything a human being can lose. And yet what he discovered, in the midst of that unimaginable suffering, became the foundation of an entirely new school of psychology. He found that even in the worst possible human conditions, people who were able to find a meaning in their suffering, who could look at their pain and say this is for something, were dramatically more resilient than those who could not. Not because meaning made the suffering less real, but because meaning made it bearable, and bearable became survivable, and survivable became transformative. Frankl wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." The world did not give him his suffering to be cruel. Life did not hand him that darkness as punishment. It handed it to him as material. And what he built from that material, his work, his writing, his insight, has since given meaning to millions of lives. Your suffering is also material. The question is what you will build from it. Part 2, the specific preparation. I want to be specific about what I mean by preparation, because I am not simply talking about vague spiritual resilience. I am talking about concrete, specific skills, insights, and capacities that you could only have developed through the specific difficulties you have experienced. The person who grew up in poverty and built their way out of it does not just have money. They have a relationship with resourcefulness, with creativity under constraint, with the absence of entitlement, that people who were handed everything rarely develop. That edge, that specific hunger, is an asset that cannot be manufactured. The person who experienced a serious illness and recovered does not just have their health back. They have a depth of gratitude for ordinary days, a clarity about what actually matters, a willingness to be present. That is one of the most profound gifts a human being can carry. The person who went through betrayal and rebuilt their trust does not just have new relationships. They have a discernment, a groundedness, a refusal to be naive that makes everything they build next more solid. None of these gifts are available at the gift shop. They are only available at the cost of the specific difficulty that produces them. Part 3. Rewriting the narrative. There is a practice in narrative therapy called reauthoring. The idea is that the stories we tell about our lives are not objective facts, they are interpretations, and we have more authorial control over those interpretations than most of us realize. The same set of events can be told as a tragedy, a story of loss, failure, and unlucky circumstance. Or the same events can be told as a formation, a story of difficulty, growth, and emerging strength. Both stories are true. Both contain the same facts, but they produce entirely different futures, because the person who sees themselves as the product of a tragic story lives differently than the person who sees themselves as a protagonist in a formation story. Joseph, the biblical figure sold into slavery by his own brothers, could have spent the rest of his life defined by that betrayal. Instead, Years later, standing before those same brothers who had condemned him, he said something astonishing. "You intended to harm me, but it was meant for good." Not denial, not minimizing, but a refrain so powerful it transformed the worst moment of his life into the defining proof of his purpose. What is the Joseph moment in your story? What is the thing that was intended or simply happened to harm you that you are now equipped to see differently? We are going to the closing. You have been through things, real things, hard things, things that left marks. And those marks, every single one of them, have shaped the particular person reading or listening to this right now. That person with your specific scars, your specific wisdom, your specific hard-won understanding of how life actually works, is not a damaged version of who you could have been. They are the version of you that your story required. The preparation is not over. The story is not finished, but nothing you have been through has been wasted. It has all been building something, and what it has been building is you. Before you go, carry this with you today. The things that break us open are often the things that let the light in. Until next time, keep ascending.
Please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment. We can grow together.